Hi everybody. Hi Pam, nice to see you. Pam, if you get the chance, can you join us please? Because I wanted just to have a quick chat with you as you're here, please. Pam, if you can hear me, can you request to share the screen with us? Because I'd like to chat with you. Perfect. Well,
Hi, Sharon. How are you?
hi Pam, how are you? Really good to see you.
Oh, thank you. It's good to hear from you too.
Yes. So I'm going to give an update on what we've been up to in a sec, but I just saw you on there and I didn't want to miss you because I just wanted to let everybody know we're here in the port of Tazacorte. A few days ago we were here with the GeoInterns as the lava first hit the sea, and actually as that happened we were asked to leave fairly promptly, but we can still see the volcano from here and we wanted just to come back and revisit the spot. But Pam, I just wanted to say an enormous thank you. Pam has done an amazing job. Tell us about your initiative.
Yeah, so when I was over there, I did some sketching, as I usually do in the field, just some field sketching, and I got home and painted one of the field sketches of the eruption site. So I've made that into some postcards and stickers. So all of they're now for sale on my website, which is pamela.campbell.scot. And if you go on there, you can purchase a postcard or a sticker, and all profits are donated to the fundraising efforts that GeoTenerife and Sharon have set up, working with a local photographer on the island to donate all of some funds to the local community that really need it right now, with the losses and kind of having to uproot and move, all the upheaval that they've had to deal with, and as a result of the eruption.
Pam, that is honestly, first of all, the postcards are beautiful. You're incredibly talented. Let's start with that. But also, thank you so much. It's such a lovely thing to do. And let me tell you that we've had quite a difficult day here today, because we have been speaking to a number of families that have been evacuated. And helping them. So we've been one of the reasons that we're here, as you all know, is to start spending some of the funds that people have very kindly have been donating to give just immediate aid to families with what they need. And it's been extraordinary things, from things to help kids to, you know, a washing machine, because you've suddenly got various members of a family renting a flat and trying to all live together. And I have to tell you, some of the stories have been incredibly difficult to hear. And we have been able to record quite a few testimonies, but they're quite harrowing, and I have to say now is probably not the time to be sharing those, and we'll probably you know, give some thought as to how we develop those stories and how we follow these stories. But the one thing that's incredibly evident from the conversations that we've been having with people is how disjointed the assistance is. So from the outside, it does sound like there's lots of money coming, but it's not very clear where that money is going and how it's going to be spread. So the fact that we can do something straight away to help these families is amazing. And obviously we'll have Christmas coming up as well. We have families who are living in fairly precarious situations, or certainly disjointed situations. Some of them renting flats when they don't have an income from a shop. So there was one girl that we were chatting to who had her house and her shop that was next door, all destroyed by the lava, and so she's had to rent a flat, and she's got her parents-in-law living next door. You know, she says it's extraordinary. I still have to pay the bill for the basura to be collected, the rubbish. You know, when, you know, my foot is under my house is under however many meters of lava. I've got a tax bill to pay on my shop, which is under lava. I've got a rent to pay. You know, it is tricky, isn't it? And it's all these sort of secondary effects that we don't think about. And she said, of course, we were offered a place in a hotel down in Fuencaliente, but my grandchild goes to school here in Los Llanos. You know, I can't afford the petrol to be coming all the way around the island, because of course you can't just go up the normal road from Fuencaliente, which you remember you'll have taken. So it's quite tricky, isn't it, see a solution in the round. But it feels good that at least we can be here, and these families feel supported, and they feel that support from everybody from abroad, which is fantastic. So thank you very much. So how can people go on the website? Can they see? I know I've reposted the tweet that you put. So
yes,
how can they order?
Yep, we've had 10 orders so far. I've just put it up in the last couple of hours. So yep.
Go you!
Option for the postcard or the sticker. So yep, and I'll just be kind of popping onto your GoFundMe page and dropping off all the money on a kind of weekly basis there. So until I run postcards.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Pam. I have to say we'll be getting a few ourselves as well, because they look absolutely beautiful. And what we've done today actually is we went to a shop, because what we wanted to do is not only help the families that have been displaced, but also some of the businesses here in La Palma who've obviously lost a lot of income. So we are collaborating with a local store owner in Los Llanos, and he sells electrical goods. And he's been fantastic anyway, because he's been very active in raising funds and liaising with the local authorities to try and help people to recover some of the goods that they may have lost in the fire, in the volcano rather. Mm. And so he has done a receipt for every item that we have bought, and it has the identification number of the people and their address, and you can see exactly the identification and the address of where they were. In Todoque, for example, most of the families we've been helping for now have been in Todoque, so that we can have all of that certified by a lawyer, so that nobody has any concerns over what we're doing with the funds and how they're being used, and how they're going straight to the families who need those items right now to get ahead. But Todoque sounded, the stories that are coming up from there are amazing, because of course what we don't realize is that here there were families who, the parents would live either on one floor and the children above, or the aunt, the uncle, and there were whole communities living on these plots of land. So they had their whole family round and about, and their businesses as well. And the question is now what to do next. So will these families be offered disjointed flats here and there, or will, what some of them are hoping is that they'll have some land where they can then re-establish their community, because it's about community in these situations, isn't it, Pam? Not just about losing bricks and mortar. Is that something you've seen elsewhere?
Yep, for sure. When I stayed on La Palma, we were right next to a family, and yep, they all had their own floors, but it was very much a kind of family community there. So yeah, it would be horrible to have, they've already kind of lost their home and then to be displaced. I think these are all the things that you don't think about when, all the kind of volcanological community were all very excited about the eruption.
Yes.
Back and thinking about, oh geez, and I think it's a great job that you're doing, kind of reporting with the volcano stories and kind of getting the kind of human impact out there. So tragic, and anything that we can all do to help, I think is important in these times.
But also I think in terms of resilience going forward, it's extraordinary the stories that we've come across, and we will eventually publish them all, but it's just all a bit raw at the moment to be roaring, whacking them on social media. It seems a bit sort of obscene really doing it straight away. So we will take some time to order them and put them into context. But it just seems extraordinary, all the secondary knock-on effects that you wouldn't have thought about, that people are affected by something like this. It's not just the 600 families or whatever who are directly affected. It's the knock-on effect for extended families, for jobs, for income, all sorts of things. And we were speaking today at great length to a local geologist as well, who I think will be collaborating with on a couple of projects. And he was saying how how difficult it was to have a sort of coherent approach, because on the one hand, yes, the evacuations have been really good, but there's so many other elements that need to be borne in mind, that 25 days in, it's quite difficult to think of everything in the round and have a really coherent solution to what's going on here, because of course you don't know how long it's going to go on, and that's still a question science can't answer.
No.
That's a question journalists are obviously very interested in.
Yep. Yeah. I know I've seen some reports that it was a YouTube video actually yesterday, and it was like the volcano is going to erupt for another year, and I was like, well, what do you know that we
Please tell us how you know that. We'd love to know.
Dedicated to the most ridiculous, and there's some really bad photoshopped images where they've clearly taken a kind of beach scene and put it right underneath the volcano erupting, and it's just,
oh wow,
there's some mental stuff.
Journalism at its best. Oh yeah. Yes. And you know, this is another aspect that we were discussing with this geologist today, and he was saying, look, the problem is we almost downplayed what could have happened here. You know, people didn't expect the eruption to be of this, and you know, the amount of eruptible material that's coming out, and the length and all the rest of it, and we've almost downplayed what the historic eruptions were like in the Canary Islands, because of course, you know, there weren't that many people living here, and of course now this volcano, which has nothing to do with the last couple of volcanoes that have erupted here, in terms of not only where it's erupted and the effects that it's having, but the duration. I mean, I think it's already certainly erupted more material than the last two put together, even though, you know, it's only been going 25 days. So he's saying in terms of building resilience in the Canary Islands, we have to be a lot more sort of assertive as to the impact these things can have.
Yep, and getting kind of the word out there about, you know, what you've built your house on is a past lava flow, and, you know, this is a kind of a threat that looms over, you know, living on the beautiful island, and it's there because of all of these eruptions. So yeah, it's just about communication in a lot of ways, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think, you know, there will be lots of lessons learned in terms of the science here as well. I think a lot of science will be done for years to come here, which is really exciting in terms of the volcanology of the place. But have you followed other eruptions in other parts of the world, and can you draw comparisons here?
I haven't followed them with as great interest. I guess I did my PhD in Tenerife, so for me, very exciting, and, you know, been kind of visitor to La Palma for many years since my internship in 2014 there. So I can't say I've followed other eruptions in as much detail.
Yeah. We're just going to pan around here because the port, actually, having been the last time we were here, of course, this was rammed with people. There was lots of TV cameras up. So there's a boat moored up here now, but there's an area up here, and that was just covered with TV cameras and cameramen. I have to say, there's a couple of cameramen who'd been there all day trying to wait for the lava to drop into the sea, and we must have arrived literally 5 minutes before it happened. Oh. So, yeah, you know, that was an extraordinary moment. But, you know, they all had to dismount their cameras pretty sharpish once it did hit the sea, because the authorities weren't very happy about people being here. So, but it's obviously all fully operational back here, and so that's good to see. And in fact, the Puerto de Tazacorte, you know, is people out in restaurants, people eating, people, you know, having a fairly normal lifestyle by the looks of things on the whole, on the surface, which is great to see. And of course, the portion of the island that we're talking about being affected is still about sort of 10% directly affected in terms of ashfall and all the rest of it. Yeah. So we're actually staying the other side of the island in Breña Baja.
Okay.
And over there, you know, again, it just seems to be a fairly normal day to day, which is really weird. You get off the boat, you're by Santa Cruz, and, you know, there might be a little bit of ash from time to time, but you wouldn't know what's going on. Although we are...
Oh, sorry, can you hear the volcano from where you're staying? Does the sound...
Occasionally, but actually it's been quite quiet. Today, actually, when we were buying some of these white goods in the shop, I felt an earthquake. I think we've had quite a large one today, but everybody around me didn't feel it, so I'm obviously a bit of a witch or something. I started sort of swaying a bit from side to side and said, gosh, what was that? And everybody's like, no, that was nothing. You know, so but I think it was a fairly large earthquake. 4.3, I think it was. Somebody said. I haven't seen the detail, but somebody said that. Marcus, hello to you. You've got a question here. I saw a report today that the lava flow could eventually reach a deeper part of the seafloor and then collapse. Any comment? Marcus, that's a really interesting question, and I think there's a lot of talk here about what's going on with the Fajana. I mean, I'm not a scientist and I don't know what you're up to date on Pamela here on the Fajana, the area that's growing into the sea. But from my understanding, where it's growing now is not as deep, but just beyond it, it suddenly does break away quite a lot. So, you know, there'd need to be a huge amount of material going into the sea to build out any further, but it might get wider. But they are saying it's not necessarily a stable platform, so it could sort of still shift and, you know, change shape and not remain the form that it is at the moment. And that's the way of lava, isn't it? Maybe you can explain a little bit more, Pam, because it's not, you know, it's not a stable platform from day one.
Yeah, and certainly you can see along the coast, it kind of looks like parts of it has of older kind of lava platforms that look like they've got maybe a sharp edge. I'm not sure. I haven't looked, just from looking at the morphology on a map and some aerial photography. So I'm not too sure about. I haven't seen that report, but yeah, it's a kind of changing dynamic system. You've got a lot of lava going in there, so yeah, I'll be interested to see. I'll have a look into that afterwards.
Yeah, no, really interesting. And today has been an incredibly tough day as well, because our photographer Samu, who we're collaborating with, whose house was until quite recently, so for the past sort of 25 days, has been a good 150 meters away from the lava flow. Today the lava has encroached a lot closer to his home. So I mean, he's been amazing because he's been accompanying us to help other families all the day, well, all afternoon today certainly, but all the while concerned about his own house, which has been really tough to see. So, you know, we were hoping he was going to be with us today. That's just not realistic, and it's not something we can ask him to do. But tomorrow, what we've asked him to do is, if we can join him, he's going to be on a friend's rooftop, because the live that we did with the GeoInterns a few days ago from La Laguna, that house they've had to evacuate now, so he can't take photographs from there anymore. So that area, you know, they've widened the evacuation area. But he's going to be on a different rooftop tomorrow, and he's going to share some more of his photographs, which we'll publish, and we'll be with him tomorrow as he does some more photography for us as well, which would be really nice.
Yeah, well, great to following you and your adventures tomorrow and seeing the photographs. That's great.
Pamela, thank you so much. And I just want to say, from all of us here and everybody that we've been speaking to, thank you so much for your efforts. And anybody who's looking for some nice postcards and a way of supporting the families here, please have a look at the tweet and on the GeoTenerife timeline, where it shows Pamela's shop and where she's selling some amazing painting postcards that you've painted. Is it just postcards?
Postcards and stickers.
Stickers. Beautiful. Pamela, thank you very much. Really lovely to see you. See you very soon. Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was lovely. That was very nice to see Pamela, and having been here with Helen yesterday as well. Both of them have been La Palma GeoInterns here with us in La Palma, monitoring here, because we've of course brought students here for the last 8 years. 8 years, is it, Ignacio? We've been working here with the students. So La Palma is really an island that's we're very close to, not only geographically, but emotionally as well. So we will put some more, hopefully we've got some video footage from Samu, which will be coming later today, and we'll share that on Instagram. But as I say, it has been a really tough day today, meeting with the families and recording some very difficult to hear volcano stories, which at some point in the future we will share with you. But I think for today, we'll leave it at that. So thank you very much for joining us. We're here in the Puerto de Tazacorte. Is this the buque marino? Oh, no creo. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll put something on social media about the connection tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, from La Palma. Bye.